guys, it's Bryton. Today I'm teaming up with my friend Mina from Mina and we are bringing you 10 tips. Each of us have 5 tips for you on saving money on your groceries by freezing, meal planning, and doing once a month shopping, cooking, those kinds of tips. Lots of tips. You'll be overloaded. Be sure to go click the link down below. Go check out my friend Mina. She's so sweet and so awesome. Her family is completely debt-free. She does a lot of financial things. She does a lot of minimalistic tips and videos on those kinds of things, and she just has a ton to share. She's a mom, she's a wife, and she's awesome, so go check her out. So on to my top 5 tips on how to get your grocery shopping and cooking for the month done, all of your freezer cooking, so you only have to cook one time a month, which is so cool, so cool. All right. Tip number 1, freeze a lot of your staples. So there's a lot of things that you can freeze that will help you to not have to go to the store. So staples, I'm talking about milk, I'm talking about bread, I'm talking about cheese, all the things that you go through a lot of during the month, and those things that when your fridge is looking scarce, they're the things that you say, I don't even have this so that I can make all these recipes. So they're kind of like the staples, the things that you always need to have in your house at all times. Milk is super easy to freeze. You pour off the top like 2-3 inches of a jug, pour it off. I always pour it into my current jug of milk that we're drinking that's still in our fridge, and then I stick it in the freezer. That way it has room to expand, because it does expand while it freezes. So if you don't pour off the top a little bit, it's probably going to crack, and then when you defrost it, it's going to melt everywhere, and that sucks because that's happened to me, so I know. Other things that are really easy to freeze are bread. Bread is super easy to freeze. Shredded cheese is really easy to freeze. The block cheese, if you freeze it, you can still use it, but it kind of crumbles. So if you don't want to use it for like sliced cheese, then you can freeze it. Otherwise, freeze the shredded stuff, buy the block stuff. It lasts a long time anyways, so. Eggs, you can actually buy a month's worth of eggs and keep them in the fridge. Eggs last a very, very long time. So I always buy my month's worth of eggs and just keep them in the fridge. Other things that we freeze that are staples are like vegetables, frozen vegetables to throw into all of our meals, like as a side dish. Anything that we can use to bulk up the meals too, we'll throw in there. So buy all of your staples that you can so that you're going to the store less and spending less money at the grocery store. The least amount of time you spend at the grocery store, the better, because you will have less impulse purchases. I know this from experience as well. Tip number 2, when you are meal planning, meal plan your fresh stuff at the beginning of the month. So if you're eating a lot of salads or things that have perishables that you can't freeze, eat those at the beginning of the month. And save the things that have like the potatoes and the root vegetables that last longer, and the things that you can just flat out freeze all together. Save that for the end of the month. That way you're not having food spoiling by saying, oh, I planned for a salad, so I bought a bunch of lettuce, but my lettuce has wilted and now it's the end of the month, and so we have to go back to the store to buy food. And then you end up spending way more money than you need to because you buy everything at the store. Meal plan for all of your berries, lettuces, leaf vegetables, those kinds of things that you can't freeze very well. Plan them for the beginning of the month so that they don't go to waste. Also, along with the tip of planning, it's a little different. It's a bonus tip, how about that? Plan on this taking, if you're doing real monthly shopping and monthly cooking where you buy all of your food for the month and you cook all of your meals for the month, plan on it taking a good 2 full days. You're gonna spend a day grocery shopping and prepping your food, and then you're gonna spend about a day cooking all of your meals. So plan on having a good 2 days of your time taken out of your week. However, then you won't have to cook the rest of the month. So you're getting it done in 2 days, and then the rest of the month you can relax, so it's totally worth it. Tip number 3, only bring out what you're gonna use for that week. So we usually go through about 2 gallons of milk a week. We usually go through a bag of apples a week, a bag of carrots a week, but we'll buy enough for the whole month. So for that week, I will take out 1 bag of apples and put them in our fruit basket on the counter. I will take 2 gallons of milk out of the fridge or out of the freezer and put them in the fridge to defrost. I like to make sure that I only have out what I planned to eat, what I bought to eat that week. That way, my kids aren't eating 50 apples that week and eating, 2 weeks worth of apples in 1 week and leaving us with no apples by the end of the month. Now, if they are wanting more apples, I'll make note of that, and the next month I'll buy more apples. But for that month, if that's what I have planned out to eat that week, that's what will be out and available that week. Same thing with snack items. Like if I buy any snack crackers or granola bars or nuts or anything like that that I plan to last the whole month, I will ration it out into weeks worth. So I will take that big jar of nuts and I will split it into smaller bags. And this will be our 1 week worth of nuts. That way we aren't binge eating on nuts. This has happened before, you guys. I speak from experience. This way you don't binge eat on nuts and then have no snacks to eat the end of the month and you highly regret binge eating on nuts the first week of the month. So ration it out. Make sure that your food is lasting as long as you expected it to last. And it might take a few months to be able to adjust that so that you know exactly how much bread you eat, how much eggs you eat, how much milk you drink, so that you are sure to buy enough. But even then, if you do buy enough, you still have to ration it out, because my kids, if they see something that they really like, they will eat that and only that, and everything else will go bad, but they will have devoured that one item. So I like to ration ours out so that I am sure that it lasts as long as it needs to, so that I'm avoiding going to the store any more than I need to. Tip number 4, preparation is key. It really is. It's my least favorite part, but it's so important. The meal planning, preparing ahead, knowing what you're gonna buy, knowing what you're gonna cook, doing it all ahead of time, doing the prep work. It really helps. The day before you actually plan to cook, doing the prep work of cooking all the ground beef or the ground turkey, chopping up all the vegetables the way that they need to be, making sure that all of your meats are defrosted and not frozen solid, that sort of thing. Anything that can help you save time when you're doing the meal cooking, the actual act of cooking the meals, anything that you can do to save time on that day is a lifesaver, because you're gonna spend hours on your feet. And if you have to make it last any longer than it needs to, then you are going to never wanna do it again. So do as much as you can beforehand. Make sure that you prep well. Make sure that you have bought all of your ingredients, that you aren't having to run to the store because you forgot something. Make sure that you have all of your pans, all of your Ziploc baggies, anything that you need to make the actual cooking day go smoothly and go quickly, the better, because you don't want to spend any more time on your feet. They hurt. Tip number 5, and my last tip, is to know how to freeze. So this might just come with experience, but I can tell you some tips or some ways that I have found have been successful. First of all, make sure that your food is cooled before you freeze it. If you're freezing it while it's still hot, it's gonna make the food not last as long in the freezer. It's going to ruin all the other food in your freezer, because you're putting a hot item in the freezer and your freezer is gonna be bogged down and not able to freeze everything as well. And if you have items that are like hamburgers or things that need to be frozen, not in a big glob, like meatballs or that sort of thing, freeze them, flash freeze them. So put them out on a pan, stick them in your freezer and freeze them for a couple hours or overnight, so that you can put them in a bag and they're not all stuck together and clumped together. And then after they're frozen, you can put them into baggies or into whatever container you have for them. Also, what you freeze them in is really important. Go buy some of those disposable pans. Even though they cost money up front, they're gonna save you a lot of time having to figure out which pan your frozen cube fits into. If you freeze it in the pan and then take it out later, it's just more work and it's more of a headache. Just go buy the tin disposable pans so that you can toss them afterwards, and it makes for less dishes, guys. Also, freezer bags are awesome. I always double bag things. So if I put a bunch of stuff into a 1 gallon Ziploc bag, I will put that bag inside of another bag just to make sure that it's double frozen. I don't want any freezer burn. I don't want anything to go wrong with my food, because this is our food that we feed our family. So I'm gonna take the time to freeze it well and make sure that it is protected in the freezer. So those are my 5 tips, but I'm gonna give you a bonus tip. I already gave you 1 bonus tip, but here's my second bonus tip. My second bonus tip is wear good shoes, because your feet hurt and your back hurt, and make sure that you're wearing good shoes, and wear a cute apron, because it's a miserable day and you're hot and you're sweaty and you're cooking in the kitchen and you wanna feel a little bit cute. So wear a cute apron and comfortable shoes. I hope that you guys enjoyed my 5 tips on monthly shopping, freezer cooking, meal planning, all of the above. Go check out Mina's video. She's gonna have 5 tips for you over on her channel. Be sure to give her some love and tell her that I sent you. And that's all from me. I hope that you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye. The whole... Should I have an outtakes, a blooper? Okay. I can't cross my eyes. Did you guys know that? I got like hit in my eye. This is a funny story. Okay, I'll tell it to you. So I was I don't remember, like a sophomore in high school, and it was elections week, and the kids were having a candy fight with the candy that they were bribing people to vote for them with. And one kid had one of those big Tootsie Rolls, and he chucked it at another kid, and I was like maybe 3 feet in front of him, and he hit me right in the eye, and it like ruptured a vessel in my eye, had blood on it, and it fractured the bone that like sits, there's like a really like hair thin bone that sits right behind your eye to kind of hold it up. Well, I fractured that bone, and my eye filled with blood, and it was like really traumatic, and I had to lay on my face forever to let my eye heal. Anyways, yeah, ever since then my eye muscles have been really weak, so I can't close my eyes. Weird fact about me, it's true.